Wee, what's going on YouTube? It's Adonai be all day. Adonai be all day. Thank you very much. Listen, guys, I'm bringing you one that I have been waiting to bring out. And the reason I have stalled on bringing this knife out to review is because of the love-hate relationship I have with it that I'm trying really hard to overcome. Now, the company itself, Off Grid Knives. Okay, it's run by really good people. They use really good material. They build them really freaking strong. The problem is, this is like junior K-Bar-ish to me. K-Bar uses some of the best materials, except for their handles, those plastic handles. But as far as blade, they use some of the best blade steel, some of the best heat treatments. Man, K-Bar does some great steel. But their handle department is, of all the major knife companies, I will tell you this straight out, K-Bar is the single worst when it comes to putting a handle on a knife. They are terrible. Not, they're okay. No, K-Bar is terrible at putting a handle on a knife. Just so many bad decisions from all of their lines. It doesn't really matter. You go up and down, you're going to find some really bad K-Bar grips. Just awful. And I am liking this company, and I really don't want them to turn into the next K-Bar. And I'll show you what I mean. I've already brought out a few of their knives, and there's one Viper. The Viper, what do you call it? The Viper, it's like a flipper, a folder. The Viper I actually carry. It's a really cool knife. Today, right now, I have on me, the Sumo by Gerber. Great knife. So that was my bring it to the gym knife. That's literally what I had in my pocket. So yeah, the Viper is really cool. Now at first hold, I didn't really care for the Viper's grip because it felt kind of cheapy, plasticky, but it's a good material. It just had a weird feeling, but it grew on me. The Viper absolutely grew on me. It's a strong knife. I really like it. I brought you a couple others. The little fat one, horrible, man. It was so bad. I don't like that knife at all. I think it was called the Fat Boy or something like that. And then I brought you another fixed blade where it was a good knife with, its ergonomics and the handle just weren't right. Well, now I'm bringing you like the bigger brother, and hopefully, I'm not going to say hopefully because I already know it's built well. I already know 100% it's built well. There's just one thing about it, and you already know what it is. So I was talking to my friends over at the Shredder Knife channel. Yeah, Shredder! And they asked me if I would do some handle comparisons. So I brought out a few things to do some comparisons of the handle. But before I do, let's get into this thing. So we have a Kydex Sheath. You can see that right away. And as far as the Kydex Sheath is concerned, I like it. I really like this sheath. It's a very well done Kydex Sheath. They have their logo sitting right there on it. It got a little sun glare, but it's on there. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow you guys down. If so, we'll go, oh no, I can't believe you're going down. So let's get into the actual blade. It is a survival hunting, They say military. I would never, ever carry this with my pack. No way. My time in Afghanistan, no way would I have a knife where I needed to rely life or death on this. Can't do it. But let's see, weight 10.3 ounces. Blade length 4.98 ounces. So you're talking about pretty much a 5-inch blade. And the blade, let's take that away. The blade's gorgeous, man. I love that. So we are looking at left right hand carry as you can switch obviously from here to there. You can put it, you can change it in direction, which is really nice. But yeah, I don't know, this is really good. One of the things I really like is all the extra mounting points make great lashing points. So if you've already mounted your belt keep, or however you're going to put it, if you're putting it on gear, you could mount it onto the gear, then that's great. Now you have all this extra stuff for lashing, right? man, it's nice and bad at the same time. I'm gonna get into that. Let's see, it's a fixed blade, blah blah blah. Blade width is 1.6 inches. Blade thickness is 5 millimeters. Blade hardness is 60 to 61. Now that leaves room for chipping. When you're talking about getting a blade that hard, you're gonna chip more than likely than folding. But it is a cryo heated D2, so it is pretty strong. I'm not gonna lie there. It's a stone wash, plain edge. Handle length is 4.5. Handle color, they call it the color snakeskin. That's not really a color, but what I can tell you is that the snakeskin is dope, and it is my Carta, your Carta, our Carta. So this is what we're getting into right here. That is a great looking package. Now my area of concern is right here. This area right here, there's just too much stuff. There's too much material. From here to here is really nice. If they followed this contour line like this, and then brought it kind of maybe down a little bit right here and then up, this thing would be literally one of my favorite EDCs. It would be, and I haven't even tested it yet. We're going to test it, but I haven't even tested it yet, and I can already tell you this would be one of my favorites. You know I like a thick blade. How do you know I like a thick blade? Because I design thicker blades. You know what I mean? This is my general EDC. This is the D-Bad little big man. Handle for handle, look at the difference, right? Where it's supposed to fit in the hand. This thing right here is so freaking comfortable in the hand. It is amazingly comfortable. Would I take this in my pack? Oh, yes, I would absolutely take this in my pack. The contouring where your hand is supposed to fit is supposed to fit your hand. So let's do this. Let's do this. I will just grab it by the blade because that's what's always recommended. Look at the difference in overall girth where it comes to where the fat part of your hand goes. Here, you want it to be a little tiny bit girthy because that's where the long part of your hand is going to go. The fat part of your hand is going to go over here, right? You don't want it to be fat. You don't want it to be fat. You want it to be contoured beautifully. And my little big man is contoured beautiful. Hopefully we can get that in the sun. I don't even know where the sun is, but right there. But man, look at that. That is really cool. It's just right here. This is the only problem with the entire knife. Right here would work if this was cut up. Right here would work if this was cut down. So what I think I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to re-profile this. I'm going to give it my own because I want to love this knife. And I think just by slightly modifying the handle, I think I will, because right now I don't even want to put it in my hand just because of that weird feeling here. And some people might like that big, thick, weird grip, but I have gigantic hands. So I can't even imagine what somebody with smaller hands grabs this and thinks, wow, that's really great. Like right here, this finger right here is touching. You can see it gradually goes up and up and up. You should be able to get this finger down to around your hand. If it doesn't go there, then your grip is just too thick. So now the shredder asked me to do some comparisons as far as grip. D-Bad little big man, no contest. The grip on this is just beautiful. It's beautiful. He asked me about Essie, so I brought out the SE6. This is the way my camp knife. I love this freaking knife. This is my ultimate camp knife, like aside from the one I ended up creating. But I love this knife so much that I dressed it so when I take it into the field, it's ready for me. Now, again, look at the size and girth. This handle is super duper wonderful comfortable. It is a really great handle. It's narrow, so when you have girth here, the narrowness takes it down, and you can see this finger touches my hand, right? All three fingers touch my hand. That is a really sweet grip. It is a sweet grip. So that is compared to the SE6. And okay, we got a little big man. We got the SE6. Here is, oh man, the Roamer 300 is amazing. This is steel wheel, the steel wheel roamer. Let's get into the grips. Another superb, phenomenal, and D2, just like this. Look at the handle though. Do you see? I mean, the difference is major. That is major. This one is one of the most comfortable grips I have. It's just, whew, man, it's awesome. They did a great job on this. Now I'm only going to show you a few more, and then he asked me to do some comparison to tops, just to get an idea. And I'm going to be sending the shredder some tops knives to play with because they haven't had any tops. This right here is the Utica, the UT. You can see, I don't know, man, maybe not without the sun. This thing gets some use. But again, you have a sharp inside grip. It gets fatter here, but when you're comparing the fat, it's no contest. And this blade's pretty close, right? It's pretty close, but I mean, look at even here, you can see the girth difference. Making a comfortable handle means everything in the knife world, because your life is trusted upon this right here, upon this one tool, right? One other before I break into some tops, I think, just to show you. And two others. This one right here, this gets used a lot. This is probably the most underrated survival knife series on the block. The SCHF series, the survivalist series. This handle is so amazing. Now, if this handle was on this knife would be ridiculous. Minus the length. You wouldn't need all the length because this is obviously a big blade. This is not. But again, look at the contouring. What you're seeing is all of these knives. I'm breaking out knife after knife after knife where the contouring is the same. It's all equal. And the reason for that, the reason all these, oh man, the CRKT, this thing, the KHC, is amazing. So now this grip is a little off. This one's a little big, and it's big in here because of this finger swell. Bring my hand down, I don't have that issue. Bring it up here. So this is the fattest one in comparison that I wanted to bring out comparatively, and it's still just a little bit better than this one. So this right here is probably, of all my knives, this is a great chopper. Of all my knives, the thickest I would ever want to handle. This handle is thick. It's big. You can see it compares a lot to this handle, but it's just done slightly better. So there are, like, most of the knives that you're going to see, and this sheath is no comparison to that sheath. This one comes with it. This is like a $500 knife with a $20 knife sheath, but it's built well. It's a really nice $20 knife sheath, but I am no fan of the sheath. So now he asked me to get into some tops, and I'm going to show you some differences of like tops, because he thought that, you know, the handle was going to be similar to the tops, the way that they do them. But tops is weird when it comes to their handles. Some are great, some are not. But it all depends. It's like they're made for different hands. This is the Silent Hero. This is one amazing survival knife. This handle is way too small for me. If I put my fingers here, you can see that it barely leaves the fingers. It's just right here. There's probably a 1/4 inch too small within the handle of this knife. Now I'm going to send out a bunch of tops knives to the shredder to play with. I think I'm going to send this one because I believe the shredder, Ezekiel, is going to like it because he has really small hands. This might be the absolute perfect knife for the shredder. This might be like the one and done survival knife for the shredder because his hands are going to melt into this. The grips on this are amazing. They're wonderful. They're greatly done. Just too small. And when I say too small, you can see compared to this, it's almost half of the size, right? I mean, it's really small. This right here is comfortable in this area. Look how much smaller that is compared to that. It is really small. Now they do another one where it has a small grip in the front, and that's the Prather War Buoy. And you can see again how small that is. But then it fattens up here and it has this great contouring there. So it actually makes a really well fit in the hand knife. I think, John, Papa Shredder, I think you are going to love the grip on this. You have a medium-sized hand. I think this one might be that grip that you put in your hand and go, shh, honey smacks. All right, so I think I'm going to send you guys this one to play with too. Don't be afraid to play with them, because I know I do. So outside of that, we have two others. One that's a little fat, and then one that's perfectly contoured. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll just send you all four of these. This one right here is, this is amazing. This is the Operator 7. So now where you get the grip off here is the thickness is really thick. I believe it's even thicker than this one. The difference is the contouring. You can see the huge difference between girth as far as width. I mean, as far as this kind of girth instead of not width. But this one, when you put it in your hand, even though it's girthy, my fingers still get around because the contouring is done right. It's a little slick, but it's also a little textury in the same manner. It's a fighting knife, so you need to be able to posture with your blade, so it's got to be able to get around the hand fast. I have to say that this one, when you choke up on it, this thing is fantastic. So this is one I'm gonna send to you. Now it's a little thick. I think the Shredder isn't gonna get his little tiny hands around there. John, you might have a little trouble getting your hands around there. For someone like me, really good. Now I think where both of you are gonna like this, and even Mama Shredder might really dig this grip. Whew, this one right here. This is the Mission Team 21. This thing, this grip is what knife grips are supposed to feel like. And when we compare it, you can see the absolute difference in girth. I know this is going on forever. This is the last one before we really get to that blade, but I was asked to do this, so we are doing it. And man, putting this knife in the hand. Now this knife has an odd balance. It's almost like, because of this great choil, even though it's a great choil, somewhere in here the balance is too far front for this handle. But the overall comfortability, which is my own word, is just staggering. This thing, you put this in your hand, and I don't care what hand size you are, you're going to say, wow, that feels really good. Great knife. All of these Tops knives, they're expensive because they're worth it. They're really good knives. The steel is amazing. The grip materials are amazing. The grip contouring is amazing. Some of them are a little small, some of them are a little thick. That's the difference. So now back into this guy, as far as the overall weight from handle to blade, because of this right here, the weight is just, it's not a favorite. It's not a favorite. Let's see if we can't figure out the weight point on this. Let's see. The weight is, so you see how far past the lug it is, right? Instead of a weight point here, which a lot of blades are, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be, I can't do this because this is round. But it's the weight you want right around here, not here. And even though it's a ½ inch difference, the ½ inch difference means a lot in your swing, because the power in your swing is generated from the front of the blade, not the back of the blade. When you have so much weight here, it takes away from here when you're chopping. Now on their website it says leave your hatchet at home. Why? This thing, it's going to be able to chop because it's a knife and because I'll do this, but it's not a chopper. I'm telling you right now, it's not a chopper, and I can tell just by the weight. If I hold this in a true grip, chopping, it would take you forever to get through anything. You really have to manipulate your hold to work this. But again, I'm going to test it as it is. Then I'm probably going to take it down to my little shop and just make this better. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to keep all this the way it is. I'm going to keep this exactly the way it is. All I'm going to change is here, because that's all that needs. It's really all it needs is this to be changed. Outside of that, it's pretty. It's pretty. Let's see if it's sharp. This is out of the box. It's getting some hairs, I think. Yeah, it's breaking off some hairs. It's not really shave sharp. It's more break hair sharp. I didn't get, like, I could still see all the hairs on the arm, but let's see. Yeah, no, it's definitely not shave sharp out of the box. It's sharp though. I mean, I can feel it. And breaking hairs means it's cutting them in half. So it's still pretty freaking sharp. Let's actually go get some business done. All right, so here we are at the old stump. Let's first do some drops, some 4 feet drops. That means 4 feet from tip to stump. And we'll see how the balance is. Only at 4 feet, it should drop pretty good. It should. It may tilt a bit because of the rear weight, but we will see. There we go. Yeah, see, it leans just a little, which is good. Well, some of it maybe a lot more than a little. Yeah, see, man, I'll tell you. That's 3 in a row, and I'm dropping it straight, and I'll show you guys, because I don't want anybody to say, oh, yeah, you're probably doing that on purpose because you're trying to. I actually like this knife company, and I want these knives to be good, and I want them to be right. So here's my impact. I want 4 feet, and I know where my arm sits at 4 feet. You see how far it's literally laying down. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to show you. And it's just going to show you how far off the balance on this knife really is. You see that? This thing's laying almost down. And the last couple just hit the same way and just fell out. But the balance is just not really all that good. But let's do a couple hard downward throws. Well, this is going to be useless because I already know the tip is not going anywhere. It is a thick tip. And hard downward throws are a good way to see if there's going to be any folding. There's not going to be any folding. This steel is right, man. This steel is right. Let's see. And we'll see the bite. Bam. Bam. It's got some good bite. The bite gets slowed down a little bit by the thickness. And even saying that, here's your line right there. Here's the bite line. So even being slowed down, it's still getting in really nice. We're going to do a couple hard downward stabs. Now it does have a swell here. It's slightly slick, but this contouring right here, this little shape right there, is really nice on the thumb. Really, the grip this way, it's funny. The grip this way is way more comfortable than the grip this way. Really weird. That right there, it fits this part of the thumb. This finger gets around because it's nice and long, right? These two fingers are long. These two fingers are not. So, I mean, you know what I mean? That's where the problem lies. But bam, so I have no worry about sliding because this is done so well. This little ramp right here is done really well. I'm telling you guys, the reverse grip on this knife is really comfortable. It's really comfortable. Let's do another one. Boom. All right, so now we're going to a little pry. Now what we're going to do, that's showing you that nothing is going to bend on this knife. Nothing. Now, they use the word overbuilt. These are overbuilt knives. There's no such thing as overbuilt. There's either built good or built bad. These are built really freaking good. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. And you can hear all the cracking. That's not the knife. That's the wood. So as far as strength, overall toughness, front to back, it's strong, man. I mean, if I was a jerk like some of these reviewers I've seen, I would put this in, I would hammer it down, and then I would stand on it like an ass to see where the breaking point is going to be. But that would be completely disrespectful to the makers over at Off Grids, and I would not do that. And I know a lot of people are going to say it's disrespectful. You've been knocking that. That's not disrespect. I have to go into every one of these honestly. Otherwise, somebody's going to watch one of these reviews, buy one of these knives, and go, dude, you said it was this, but man, this. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be honest. Whether it hurts feelings or not, that's not my concern. And I'll tell you what, if somebody took one of my homemade knives that I make here in the house, and they said, oh, you know what you did wrong on this? That makes me think, okay, so the next one I'm going to make better. The next one I'm going to do right. Let's see here. Let's see. The edge is good and sharp. Now, being very, very thick, you can't lay down and do the cucumber salad stuff where you're getting ultra, ultra thin, but it's still contoured enough to where you're getting it thin enough. Here we do. Here we do. That's a new one. So let's try a push cut. Now this is nylon rope. This is nice and thick. This rope is kind of almost like plastic strands. This isn't twine, so we're gonna see what we can get. All right, so push cut. I got some cuts. Now we're gonna try a saw cut, and that was easy. So the push cut, it's not sharp enough for a straight push cut, but I mean literally one zip and it literally tore right through. So the edge, am I saying that this edge is bad? Because no, that edge is good, because just going zip and making a nice clean cut, that means sharp. That's a really, really good edge. That is refined. Refined. Just because it's not so sharp that the push cut just, oh no, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I don't want anybody to get confused. All right, so let's do a little batoning. Batoning. All right, here we go. Now, do I feel this knife is going to have a problem with this? No. This steel is ridiculous. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so I got a little knot at the end. What I want to do is I want to try and baton straight through that. Let's see. And when I say try, I mean succeed, because this knife is going to handle it no matter what. All right. Let's give it one more where I can really, since now I have some real estate to use, since it's split, I can get a good hard shot in there. Here we go. Ba-ba! All right, so let's do that one more time. You know, I'm at the angle on this one, so that's why it's rolling on me. There we go. Here we go. I want to give it a nice hard shot. Let's get it set in there. Ba! Ba! Boo-ba! And like I said, there is zero issues with the edge. And I mean zero issues with the edge. Let's do a little kitchen prep here. Now, I'm holding it way at the end because I want it to chop, right? If I hold it here, I can't. Literally, do you see this? I'm actually, that's my chop. Oh, man. But here, look at this. Just by holding it in a different spot, let's get some of this, the thicker stuff. Holding it at the end, it's giving me momentum. Holding it here, I'm not able to go all the way through. There we go. So you can see just by ergonomics and weight differential, if this was lighter here, I would have been able to swing down harder than, than having to use the rear of the knife. So that makes a huge difference. It's something that people don't realize, but it really does. It makes a huge difference. As far as feather sticking, yeah, you're gonna be all right there. Let's do some pulls. This is where you can really capitalize on your edge geometry. Man, that is nice. All right, let's get some of that crap off of there. So now you got to make arrows, tent spike spears, and all that jizz jazz. Let's see. How is it carving? The jimping that's on the spine is not too aggressive, meaning this is really, really comfortable on my thumb. This pinch grip right here with that there, aside from this, is really nice. Is really, really nice. So as far as my ability to, make a fishing spear or fight off a bear spear, this is going to have no problems getting through any of that. And chopping, as long as I hold it way down at the end, I can swing through. But we want to see if it'll chop more, if it'll chop bigger. Let's go take something big. All right, before we do any of that, let's do the test on the plastic netting here. And it did not go through. Let's try again. There we go. All right, so I went over the same spot, and it is having a little bit of trouble as your skinner. Like, there's a lot of force going down here, and I'm actually using the heft part of the blade. I'm not able to just skin with it. I have to push through, which if you're doing an animal, you don't want to have to dig your knife in. But it's still sharp enough to cut through. Is it a skinner? No, not so much. But here's our test. Here's our test. We want to do some chopping. So let's see. All right, so I'm going to first hold it in a true grip. It's barely making a dent. Now, I am 6'3", 235 pounds, and I am strong as a mother. And I'm winding up into this. I'm not going to girly it. Wind up, and I'm going to hit. It is not a chopper, but I'm going to risk my grip. And here's where some of the fatness, if it was more contoured right here, I'd have more of a finger swell at the end, and I wouldn't have to worry about it flying out of my hand. But I'm just going to grip the snot out of it and hope. Like, I can feel it wanting to leave the hand, but now that it's there, look at this. I'm barely swinging. Before, I was really, really swinging. Now I can let the knife do the work because of pendulum. That just literally came all the way out of my grip. That could have been a dangerous one. That could be a right in your own eye type thing. So, as a chopper, you are going to need a lanyard in there to hold the knife all the way here. With a lanyard, what'll happen is you can grab it so tight that even at the end of your grip, right here holding nothing, the lanyard will be what holds it, and it'll be like an extension of your actual tang. That is absolutely needed if you plan on doing any chopping with this, because chopping from here is no good. Chopping from here is great. The problem is you risk that happening. It's just not a guarantee that it's going to stay in the hand. That can be a very dangerous situation. Luckily, they were smart enough to add a lanyard hole, which is big, and that's why when I recontour it, I'm going to contour this side, not this side, because that's important. So, one more test. My favorite. The test of true flight. Let's see how she flies. Hey, Mama Shredder. What's that called? First try, baby! Actually got in there pretty good, too. Caught it low and on the edge. But, whoo, man. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the reverse grip on this. And, I like the way that, look at this, it's completely sideways. I like the way it flies out of the hand. So what that means is it doesn't have lashing points to make for a good spear because of the contouring and the lack of holes. The ricasso is very small. There's not very much, you could still lash with it. You can still lash it onto a stick, no problem. But if you got comfortable throwing this blade, then you can use it for things like, you know, trying to catch a rabbit or something. You see one over there grazing, and you think, wow, I'm gonna catch that bunny. You might be able to. Now, this is a 4-foot throw, consistent all day long, because it flies nice. It's got that nice width to it, and I think that really, really helps. So let's give it an overall. An overall assessment. What do I honestly think about this knife? I honestly think that with slight contouring here, and I'm talking between 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, depending on what part right here, I think that this knife is going to be sweet. And does it suck that it needs a little bit of work? Yeah, it should have come that way in the first place. Absolutely. The only problem with this entire package, because this knife has been awesome, the only problem I have is right here. That's it. It's only in the girth. And the good thing is that's something fixable. That's something you can absolutely do something about. And I'm not saying without proof that, oh, they make these way too thick and way too wide, blah, 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 blah. I'm showing you comparative knives. Knives that they say the same thing. Take it out in the field. Do this, do that, do that. Every single one of those knives outside of one had a really well contoured handle that fit the hand, and they all fit mostly, aside from the top stuff, they all fit pretty much the exact same way in the hand, and they were all survival / hunting, you know what I mean? So they're the same category of knife, just slightly different in the contouring. And that's literally what separates this really, really good knife from some of the really, really great knives, is probably a very, very minor amount of steel. That's it. That's it. A very, very minor amount of steel separates this knife from those knives. You know what I mean? So overall, if it came down to, would this be my choice? Absolutely not. Nope. Not even close. Not even close. I would take every single one of those into the field before I took this one. I guarantee you, though, once I'm done with this, then some of those thoughts might change. This thing's a beast. This from top to bottom, tang to tip, strong. Minor contouring makes it a good knife to a great knife in a heartbeat. So that's it. Shredder, get ready. You're gonna get some Tops knives to play with. This thing right here, I wish, I know you guys are big supporters of the Off-Grid company. I wish it was just a little bit better. I can give a better, calling on it and say, hey man, yeah, this is the one I would recommend. I can't do it. Because of here. But luckily, the Shredder, they have the same view. They know what's going on. They're very honest people. They love this company. But if you watch the Shredder knife reviews and you watch them talk about this, they love the strength of the steel because the steel is strong. They love the sharpness of the steel because the steel is sharp. They love the materials in here because the materials are right. Both Shredder and John both had the same feeling about right here. Does that mean that they are going to stop loving Off-Grid and who they are and what they do? Absolutely not, because they're smart knife reviewers. They're just speaking through reality. Reality is this needs changing. So that's it. That is the Tracker X by Off-Grid Knives. We're going to do a little debatting to it, and this thing is going to be quite awesome. That's it for this one for now. I am Donnie B all day. Until next knife.